brass, the reed, and woodwind. So the woodwind, some people they also make the flute using the wood. So below there is an image of some of these wind instruments, like the one you can see on the picture. Those are pictures that you can see there, the examples of the wind instruments. Some of the wind instruments, they are saying saxophone is another example of the wind instrument, but they are categorized according to the sound that we want to make. They are the ones that make alto, tenor, soprano. So the bigger the size, it also produces the loud voice. So they can be in the same category, but if you change the sizes, it will produce the loud or the low voice or the high voice. So it depends on the size of the musical instrument that you are using. So imagine that you're having a preschool children. What kind of the musical instruments under this category of wind can you use with the preschool? Whistle. A flute. They are simple to handle. You have to also to consider about that the sizes of the musical instruments, because you cannot just bring, like, for example, this kind of musical instrument. This one is too big. The blowing, it cannot be enough. The wind cannot be enough for it to make sound. So you need also to look at the age of the children. Are they going to manage to produce the desired sound that we want to? Yeah. So these are the things that we need really to know when we are also selecting what kind of musical instruments that we need our children to use in the preschool. So another category on the musical instruments, we have, these are the examples of the trumpet. You have listened. These are commonly used by the soldiers, the military police. They use it, and other religious, like the Seventh-day Baptist, Salvation Army. They also use this kind of wind instruments with different sizes. Another one, you look at this one, the trumpet. Have you seen this kind of trumpet? It's different from the first one that we saw. So they are in different categories of the trumpet based on the desired sound that they want it to produce. So we have the tambourine. This is the musical instrument. It looks like this. So they squeeze the long thing, squeezing it, and they are also blowing. It also produces the sound which they desired to produce. And under the wind instrument as well, we have harmonica. Have we ever seen this musical instrument? The harmonica. Yeah, yes, it's a small one. This one, the preschool children can be able to use it because it's portable, easy to handle. Then children can be able to blow their wind and it can produce the desired sound. So harmonica is one of the musical instruments under category of wind. So another category of musical instrument is the string instrument. So the string instrument, you can only produce sound after cracking the strings. So there are a lot of materials under this category of string instruments. Can you give examples of the string instrument? Guitar. Um, oh, I know it. Ah, I was confusing with the ones the Tongas used to do. It's under the keyboard. But the violin, yes, violin, you have to crack the strings. We also have the piano, another piano which also use uh, the the strings. So the guitar. So those are some of the examples of the string instruments. So with the preschool children, what kind of the musical instruments can we use? Mhm. So there are some guitars that are made special for children. They are small, easy to handle. They cannot use the adult guitars because they're big and heavy. They cannot be able to handle it. But the small guitars that children can, or we can make our own small guitars that children can be able to use them. Unlike having those bigger guitars which cannot be good for the children to handle. So that's another example. So they are also categorized according to their sounds. They are all falling in the guitars, but you look at the different size, they also produce different sounds. So if you want to have a bass guitar, you need also to have uh, the bass here, this side, it has to be big enough so that it can be able to produce the bass sound. If you want to have a tenor or alto, it also are based on the size of this side. So there are some guitars that are electric guitars. Some they are not electric guitars. So that also we have to know. If you are at the rural village, you cannot bring the electric guitar. It will be difficult. So based on the place where you are, if you feel that the availability of electricity is there, if the institution can manage to have the electric guitars, then you can provide. But if it's not, then we can also make using our local materials. There are also some people who are also selling these small guitars for the children, and then they can be able to play. Even the violin, we can also make small violins for the children to play. So another musical instrument that's also under this string is this one. Have you seen? It's a pedal steel guitar or a laptop steel guitar. So it's a guitar which is big with a lot of strings. There are strings there, you can see. There are strings there. So I'll share you this. Maybe you can also play the YouTube, which is the link which they have indicated there, so that you can also listen on the sounds that it produces. So another category is the percussions instruments. So all the instruments that requires someone to beat it so that it can produce sounds, they are falling under the percussions instruments. So what are the examples of the percussions instruments? You see, they are supposed to be beaten. For them to produce sound. Like drums. It's a drum, but they are under they use electric guitar drums. Those are electric drums. But like the ones there, our cultural traditional dances they use, those ones they don't need electric. Those are simple drums. So those ones they fall under this. Even the xylophone, the xylophone it needs someone to be beating it so that it can produce the desired sound. So all these they are falling and the percussions. So different cultures they also have different uh, percussions, musical instruments based on their culture. Like in Malawi, we normally depend on those drums with different sizes as well, based on the sound that they want to produce. If they want the bass one, they need also the drum to be big enough so that it can produce the bass sound. If they want to produce the high note, they make sure that the drum should not be big, should be small or tiny, so that the desired sound they want it can produce. Sometimes they also make some holes to help the sound to be loud. If you watch the Gule Wankulu, the kind of the drums that they use, will be able to appreciate, oh, so there's science here. When they are making these drums, they make some holes so that it can help to produce the sound. So the ones which you were talking about, they are these ones. These. So these are electrical drums. They are not under shakers. Let's see other categories and see where we can place those ones. So other drums, it's a kit. You cannot buy one. When you're buying this kind of drum, you have to buy the whole set. Apart from this, we also have this kind of drums. Some of these drums, like this one, you can find in town. Huh? Ziboliboli. They have this kind of drum, but it's not originated from Malawi, but from other Eastern Africa countries. They are the ones that design this kind of drums. So the xylophone. So this is the type of the xylophone. Like here in Malawi, the culture that use the xylophone, they are singers, not other culture. But the singers are good at playing this musical instrument, the xylophone. Here, but at Bambino, we have this xylophone with different sizes. They also make with different sizes so that they can also produce different sounds. So we have the markers. So the percussions, the examples of the xylophone. You see this one? Yeah, this is another example of the xylophone. And here as well, they are also using the xylophone. But I feel like the ones here, they are more modern xylophones compared with the previous, which I showed. That like this is the traditional xylophone compared to the other ones. The English people, they are so clever. They will just buy, see your material and go and modify it and sell to you at an expensive rate. So we have to be very creative in making these musical instruments. Okay. So we have the keyboard instruments. The keyboard instruments, example of the keyboard instruments, what are they? Mhm. The piano. The piano falls under the keyboard instrument, and you also have for the I don't know what do they call the ones the tongas they sing as they were doing their it's a keyboard instrument because they have to press the buttons as they are stretching it. They are also pressing the buttons. So that material also falls under that accordion. They call it accordion. Yes, the name was disappearing in my head. They call it accordion. It's also falling under the keyboard instrument. So there are also some keyboard instruments which are electrical, like the keyboard you were talking about. Those keyboard they require electricity for them to produce sound. So they're electrical instruments. Locally, is it? Have you seen locally? It has got some buttons that they press, or it has got string. Mhm. So, what are the function of the musical instruments? So, the function of the musical instruments, the first one is the melodic function. People choose the musical instruments based on what kind of the melody, what kind of the sound that they are desired to have. In so doing, they choose materials so that their intended goal should be achieved. So they are looking for a certain melody. So that certain melody, they look for materials that can go together with that kind of music. So the first one is the melodic function. So, for example, if you are looking at the melodic sound, what kind of materials do you need to find out or to bring it to your class so that this melodic sound should be achieved? So examples of the musical instruments that we need to prepare for us to produce the melodic sounds are the violin, the flute, the piano. Once someone started pressing the buttons of the piano, you can start shaking your head. Even if there's no words or any music like words attached to it, just the sound itself, it can make someone to start shaking the body. So the melodic is the one that we are looking in that kind of musical instruments that can motivate people to start dancing, enjoying the music. So there's a piano, the flute, the violin, they have the melodic sound. Then the second one is the rhythmatic function. On the rhythmatic function, instruments such as drums, tambourine, bass guitar produce rhythmatic function, a certain rhythm that you are required to produce. So in the traditional dances, the bass drum is the one that gives signal to the dancers on how they can change their dancing style. So the one who plays the bass drum has to make sure that he has to give that rhythmic function or the rhythmic signs to the dancers. You should be observing as those people are playing the musical instruments. You see the one who beats very much the drum is the bass drum, and is the one that gives the signal. Even to the singers or the dancers, they are the ones that give the signal that they have to change the dancing style. Because of the rhythm, is the one who changes the rhythm. Then another one is harmonic function. Instruments such as guitar, piano, organ are falling under this category of harmonic function. So when one is playing a guitar, you can feel the love of that music. You really enjoy the music because of the way how he is playing the guitar or the way how he is playing the piano. So the harmony of the music falls under this material. The guitar, the piano, the organ, they are the ones that produce the harmony of the music. Apart from this, we also have the accompaniment function. Instruments many types can provide accompaniment. For example, a whistle. It just accompanies other musical instruments. It can fall at any time. It doesn't have a specific time for you to blow a whistle. You can blow it. Then the whistle falls under accompaniment function. You just want to spice up the music. It can fall at any time. Like the shakers. They are under this category of accompaniment. You just shake anyhow. You don't need a good pattern that you have to fall for you to shake that shaker. So they are accompaniment functions. Apart from this, we also have the expressive function. So dynamic articulation and timbre convey emotions. What are expressive function? There are some of the musical instruments that help us to express or to express some emotions. So what are some of the examples of the musical instruments that can help us to express the emotions, to show that we are happy or we are sad? What kind of the materials can we use? Sometimes the way how they plug the guitar, mafika bakola sibena again. Kuti akapanga kanyanga sambozi jet, you really even your dancing style can also change because you are expressing the happiness or the joy. Or even the drums, the way how they beat the drums sometimes, they can also help us to express our emotions. So based on our course outline, we also have the voice as the musical instrument. Do we agree?
Yes.
How? How can?
This is sound. This is notes.
Voice as the musical instrument. So let's listen to this video, and also we should be able to determine.
yankunze naramumenya inyonyi barakumumenya nazansora inshuti nziza ishuri ryabura kuboneka mu byago no mu mwagura waba uri mu mahoro ntabwo mukaba muri kumwe iyo nshuti ni yesu ni inshuti yanjye y'amagara y'umukunzi mwiza wankunze naramumenya nanjye nkimara kumumenya.
So just playing on this this song, there are musical instruments and also there is vocal there. So if we are criticizing this kind of music, what can you say on the musical instruments?
The musical instruments are yes, but they are not well organized. Like yes, you say it, I think somewhere sound determines minutes, minutes, when flow.
The coordination of the sounds.
Yes. Well arranged.
Okay.
But there is no that coordination.
Okay. What about on the vocal?
Vocal,
The vocal instrument, how is it? So we can determine that the vocal instruments, they are not well organized in this song, because the human voice has to come natural in the musical instrument. You don't need to force it.
Yes.
The way how they were singing in this music, it's like someone was just forcing, they were not ready. So when you are singing using the vocal, there is also some adjustments, creating of the throat. You need to clear your throat. Adjust your vocals here so that the desired sound that is required to come should come clearly. But the choir mistress, the one who was starting the song, her voice was not good. That shows that singing, you cannot just start and add at an adult stage. You really need to start at a tender age so that you get used to that. Your throat gets used to singing. But if you start at an adult stage, it will be difficult for you to produce the desired sound, such that this kind of sound that you can produce is like the ones that we just heard from this music. It's like you're forcing yourself. So on the vocal, when you are singing like in a choir, there are 4 voices that one can choose. And the choir master or the choir mistress has to be very attentive to listen to what kind of voice is coming out. And they can, if they are well-trained choir masters or choir mistresses, they can detect that you are not singing good voice. Even if they will move from this room going outside there and you are singing, they will be able to determine that somewhere here the voice is not coming out clearly. So the vocal is also an instrument on its own. Some they can produce loud sounds. Some they can produce bass sounds, and all that also goes together with the training, the proper training. You need to have proper training, proper practice, so that the desired sound that is required for you to use the vocal instrument has to be well organized. If you go to New Life, New Apostolic, the way how they sing, the New Apostolic Church members on the vocal instrument, they are very good. On the New Apostolic, whew, the voice is very good. They can sing as if they can be a group of people, maybe like this side, but they can sing one voice, not making any mistake. They are very good and they train them well. So it goes with practice. So wide range of pitches and tones can perform melodic and rhythmic functions. So in the human voice, as the musical instrument, there are different pitches or tone, and also the melodic and as well rhythmic functions are also achieved as people are engaged in the singing. For example, there are the types of the voices that the human has to produce. For example, there is soprano, alto, tenor, and bass. All these are falling under the human voice. They can produce this as the way how the other musical instruments also produce the same sounds. The alto, the tenor, the bass, even the human voice can also produce the same sounds as well in a melodic and rhythmic. So melodic nti kuyimba mwantetemya ati kuyimba wokuti muntu kungomva mtima mukumamva kukoma ngakhale palibe musical instrument ndiye kumene kukufunika. So the melody has to be good. In this song that we were listening, the melody was not there. It cannot give you attention of listening to continue listening to the same kind of song because of the melody. The melody is not there. The rhythm, the way, the coordination of the words, the sounds there, the bass, the alto, the tenor. Find the one who was singing the bass. His bass was not all good. The one who was leading the song, her voice was also not good. So there have to be some coordination. The alto, the bass, the soprano, there should be coordination. Okay. So the music is also classified. Classification of musical instruments, they are classified. So the classification of the musical instruments, they're falling under 5 categories. There's idiophones, membrophones, cordiophones, areophones, and electrophones. These are the categories of the classification of the musical instruments. So sounds from the first example of idiophones, I-D, I-O, P-H-O-N-E-S. Yes. So they're saying that the sounds from the material vibration. So examples of the sounds, the material that vibrates there, like the xylophone, maracas, so examples there are xylophone, maracas, and cymbals. These are examples under these idiophones. Then we have the membranophone. Membranophones, sounds from vibrating membrane. Examples are like drums and tambourine. They are under membranophones. Then another category on the classification of musical instruments, we have chordophones. CHORDO, then phones at the end. Chordophones. So maybe that kind of guitar that we saw is under that chordiophone. The violin, the harp, violin, they fall under the chordiophone. So they're saying sounds from vibrating strings. They make sounds through the vibration of the strings. Then we have aerophones. Sounds from vibrating air. So examples of sounds produced through vibration of air. So the examples are like flute, trumpet, the saxophone. They are under this category. Then the last one is the electrophones. Sound from electronic means. So what are the examples of the materials or the musical instruments that requires sounds from the electronic or from electricity for them to produce sound? What are these examples? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The synthesizer. Synthesizer. It's also a musical instrument. Let me Google it. They are like keyboard. They look like this. Look, they look like this. You tune it. Okay, I want to sing a certain kind of song. So you tune that when you're pressing, you don't have challenges so that the desired sound that you want to make should be able to come out. If you want to have the kwasa kwasa or the lumba song, they tune that I want to play this kind of song. So when they're pressing, the synthesizer helps them the sound to come out the way how they want. So it requires the electronic device. It's an electronic device. Have we heard other keyboards when before they start pressing, it starts producing a certain sounds. Imabanga kacha 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 kacha. Sanambe ubanga guje ne koma imakawudi yamba ayicho nakali kubanga sound inage before they start pressing the keyboard. Ah. Simaka speaker, imaka synthesizer ija is the one that produced that kind of sound. Mm-hmm. So, in conclusion, we say musical instruments are diverse in types and functions. The human voice is versatile musical instrument. So the instruments are classified based on the sound productions methods. Different bands use various instruments to create distinct musical styles. Based on sound production methods. So different bands use various instruments to create distinct musical styles. For example, the Zimbabwe band, they had their own musical instrument based on the category of music that they play. So the musical bands, they have to make sure that they have to look for specific musical instruments that they need to use based on the chamba cha nyimbo zimene mayimba. If they are using local music, they need also to find the materials or the musical instruments that can play good local music. If they are using the jazz music, they need also to prepare for the materials that can go that category of the jazz music. So you find that the musicians, they really manage to check, to look for the materials that will suit with their kind of music that they produce to the audience. Now I give you chance to ask questions on the based on the topics that we have discussed. Okay. So having that, the course is helping us to understand the importance of music or how the music can help the holistic development of the children. We need to start developing this skill of singing. We need to learn songs that we can help children to sing in the schools or at home. So next week probably I'll let you know when we are going to have preschool teachers that are having training with Bambino Foundation. They are also being engaged, they will be engaged in music lessons. So they will learn different varieties of song that they can sing with children. Having that our classes here, they cannot accommodate us to be singing. We can be interrupting other classes. So we'll take the advantage of the preschool teachers who are also going to learn songs so that you can come and join them so that you can learn some of the songs. At least you should learn at least 10 songs. So I'll communicate next week based on our calendar. We'll see when are we having the music lessons with the preschool teachers so that you can join them and learn the songs together. Yeah. So that at the end you should be capable. When you are employed somewhere, you should be able to say that I can teach you new song. Not the same song, same songs, but you need to bring new songs to the schools. And we need also to be creative enough to compose our own songs. So after practicing there, I'll also give you opportunity to compose your own songs so that you can teach your friends. Sure.